taking a look at BlackBerry stock, we still have the same overall cycle with this upward trend support line right here. Came down, bounced off in December of 2020, January of 2021, so multiple touch points, went up to the upside, came back down in May of 2021, bounced off twice, went up to the upside, kept underneath the downward trend resistance line right here, was evident mainly around this point. Yes, a couple false breakouts, but even after the fact, it went up to the upside, still got knocked down, went up to the upside, still got knocked down. Now it created a channel. The overall trajectory was at one point and still is possible to come down to the upward trend support line and bounce off to the upside for like another additional run to the upside overall. Now the game plan is most likely is because we're staying between this channel, which is between $9.80, a little bit of $9.70, $9.60, but mainly predominantly around $9.80 for the low side in terms of support level. Has two touch points right about here. The third time it did not necessarily bounce off it, but it's not a big deal. And then as a resistance level right here, that bounced off as support one time, but then after the fact got knocked down 3 times as resistance right about here, roughly around $10.90 to $10.80 range. A little bit of the $11, so $10.90, $10.80, $11. And right now it's stuck between the moving averages, which is between $10.20 to $10.50. I believe this cycle will continue for the most part. So the reason why I'm stating that is because if you want to enter, I'm personally still holding to enter at $9.80, give or take, or the low $10. And the reason why it's not a big deal, as long as you enter between this channel, you're fine. Because in my opinion, I don't see the stock dropping like a rock right now all the way to the support level, which would be roughly around the $8.80 range, and then bounce up to the upside. I'll explain the reasons why further, but I think if anything, it would continue the channel, and then if it were to come down to a support level, bounce off the support level at a later date. And the reason why that's important is because the longer it takes, the higher the low will be. So if it bounces off towards the end of August, you're looking at bouncing off $9.18. So essentially the low $9 price point for the most part. Now, the reason why I'm stating that you might like for example, not only will it not just drop down, you might not want to wait for it to hit the support level later on, because there's a chance it could just bounce off, for example, this support level instead of the upward trend support level, the blue line, and then go to the upside, is because the patent sale could come out at any time for the most part. I'm expecting it to come out in the next earnings, which is the end of September, based off conference calls. I will release a video showing the proof for that. I think I'm gonna look at the transcripts or listen to the audio and play the audio clip later in the future, in sometime this week potentially. And so if that happens, if the patent sale comes out, the stock will have a massive run up. I don't think it'll come back down to bounce off the support level. It could, this blue support level, it could in the future, but if it does, keep in mind the lower the highs will be. So if it bounces off sometime, let's just say, the graph kind of disappears time frame, but let's just say in October, November, or at this point right here, it'll be at $10.77. You will no longer be able to see the $9 price point, or even the $9.80 if it were to drop down, which I think it will personally, but I might have fear of missing out myself. There's times it's just like you might not want to wait and just keep watching the stock, so entering the low $10 price point is good. And I expect the stock to run up $3 minimum US share price. So if that is the case, even if you enter at $9.80 and it drops down to $9, add $3, you're at $12. It's a pretty good return on your investment within less than 2 months of investing. Now, it's not guaranteed that it'll come out, and but it's just expected. But quick disclaimer before I continue, because this is all just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional. Everything I share with you is just my opinion, not advice. So please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. Now, for the most part, because it's stuck between these moving averages, we might only go down to like $10.20, $10.22, $10.19 and for the time being, for the next few trading days. So it's $10.37 right now on August 10th, 2021. That's the closing time frame, but today's August 11th, 2021. And so far pre-market is on the low side. Now, another reason why you might not want to wait for the not patent sale, but for it to bounce off the support level to continue to the upside, for example, like hypothetically the 880 like I mentioned. If you look at the 1 year chart right now, I've mentioned in the past you could wait for 880, but because this MACD line crossed over to the positive sooner than I thought, I don't think 880 is going to be the case that you could wait for. At best, you could wait for the 950, 960 range, maybe low nines. I think it's not worth the risk to reward like the outcome for it. So I'm waiting for 980. You could wait for 950, 960, but this indicates if it's a bearish or bullish movement, this MACD line, and it is in the positive, so it is a bullish movement in terms of 1 year movement, so it is optimistic. And we were kind of coming from the overly sold territory, so this is the RSI. If it's on the low side, it's oversold. If it's on the high side, it's overbought. It's not necessarily in the extremely oversold territory. Extremely oversold, I would say, is more when it passes the chart, goes below or goes extremely above, like in these cases as well for extremely overbought. But you still have time to enter. You don't need to hypothetically panic. But at the same time, you're kind of playing a little bit with fire with patent sale that could come out anytime at a moment's notice, because it could come out before earnings. It doesn't necessarily have to come out at the end of September. The only thing is, though, the reason why I'm stating that you have time still is if you go to a 5-year chart right about here. The MACD line is still in the negative. It is still in bearish territory. So this is in terms of the 5-year movement. So it's not optimistic and all that stuff. But it could cross over, and you might want to enter before it fully crosses over, because like you've seen here before it fully crosses over to the positive, it was still in the negative and it went up to the upside. Now the one thing to keep in mind though is you would have to pay attention to these bars, not only when they just become a lighter shade of red, but also when they become a lighter shade of red and start decreasing in size, so it becomes smaller. That's when it's ideal to enter, because with anticipation of the 1 year chart already being in the bullish movement overall. Now, if we go back to the 3-month chart right about here, like I stated, I'm most likely going to be entering at the 980 range, $9.80, maybe the low 10s, and that's basically it. I feel like I'm missing something. I apologize again. I keep saying that all the time, but hopefully everything helps you out in this channel or in this video. If you did like it, consider dropping a like. It does help the channel, so thank you so much for that. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Try to answer them as soon as possible. And if you like videos like this or other financial videos, other stock videos, consider subscribing so you'll be notified when I do upload those videos. And that's basically it. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.